Okay, recording the new sump here. This is made by CWT, who also makes this cool little bracket here to hold on to the algae turf scrubber that I own. Here is the logo. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Take this off. Kind of see that there. Pretty cool. So it has 5 ports here for dosing, which is great. 2 1.5-inch bulkheads over here for the drains. Something to cover up here for the crash box, and flows into some socks. I probably won't run socks unless I run fluconazole, which I shouldn't need to after the scrubber kicks in. There are probe holders down here. Kind of see them there. The overflow here is adjustable. It's a very large center section here. It's made of a 1/4-inch acrylic, which is actually not that common these days. There's a port here for cable management for your return pump. And really, that's about it. So this is going under the tank. It's 40 by 20. So this is their largest sump that they offer. And here's what it's replacing. Pardon the mess. Still cleaning it up down here, but all the equipment's going to remain the same for now. I do plan on upgrading the skimmer soon though. But the calcium reactor will probably remain in the sump. It can go external though. The Clerpa is all going bye-bye. The Tunzi thingy there, the light, it's going bye-bye. And I put these little DJ switches here to accommodate some cable management as well. And I'm going to label those with my labeling machine. So that's really it. I'm going to stick to the flex lines for now just because I want to get it going. Got some minor work I need to do. I got to drain this entire thing. It's in the evening right now, so I'm hoping I can get this done tonight. And it's not that huge of a chore, but it is definitely time consuming. So you can see it's real filthy. I need to clean up quite a bit. So just want to show you where I'm starting. Alright, my battery's almost dead, but here's where the tank is at. I'm not going to show the tank because it's absolutely a travesty right now, but you can kind of see here the sump. I'm just going to use the flex lines for now. I've been having to reroute to get the, I'm going to change locations. This area here is going to become hopefully a cabinet for controllers and stuff. An old Apex that I've got. I don't know if I'll use that, but I have this GHL, which I do like a lot. And it's kind of a mess right now. It's been like this. This is the second day that it's been like this. But I'm hoping to get the sump with some water in it and pump going and heaters where they belong and all that stuff tonight, hopefully. But yeah, that's it for now. You can kind of see the sump here. Let me go around here. Oops. Move this way. Here's the sump as it is now. It's a pretty cool sump. It's again, I already said this, but it's 40 by 20 and 16. So plenty good. It's the CWT 55 or CW 55, I think is what it's called. And the pump will be in here when I'm done. It's just this. I ordered another one. It should be here Friday. Just a jabao, just a cheapie. I'll get like a different, better one later, a Wi-Fi one. And over there is, of course, I'll just be putting those black flex lines there, or those tubes. I'll be putting them in the 1.5-inch bulkheads for now, and later on I'll get that all plumbed in properly. But for now that'll work and at least get us going. So it's already much nicer. A lot of room under here, so I'm happy with it so far. But anyway, that's it for now. Okay, so last night I got quite a bit done with the sump. here is, let me, I got this little headlamp because I don't have any lighting under here for right now. So let me see if I can light this up a little. Maybe, here we go. So you can see here, I just used the flex lines that I already had there, like I said I would, and actually that's probably going to be fine. I don't need anything. There's no leaks. Everything's working good. I have a couple more. These, you see the clear ones. There's this green line here. It's an Eheim hose. That's going to my return pump. And those two clear ones there that are on the top, kind of hanging out on top of the sump there, that's for my UV, which is behind the wall. But you know, I got the pump in there. You can kind of see here my let me see if I can make this a little more, there we go. You can kind of see the what's that thing? It's an ATO switch. I just got it on, I think, eBay or Amazon. I can't close the lid right here because it's kind of protruding. But I'll figure something else out there because I like gravity fed ATOs. I don't put calc in my ATO, so it keeps it nice and keeps it pretty clean, and I clean it out. The vat itself I clean out like once a month, just wipe it down to make sure it stays clean. But I do have this little reservoir here for, it's like a skimmate locker. So my skimmate will come and it looks like it won't go up and over, but it actually does go up and over once that fills up a little bit, and then it comes down into here. And I've already got skimmate there. This is just from last night, by the way. But I'm gonna have to downgrade my skimmer to something smaller because of the way the algae turf scrubber works. It's kind of hard to go into detail on it, but I'm definitely a fan. I usually re-add trace elements with just standard water changes, but you can also add trace elements because the scrubber does tend to get rid of the trace elements, but the positives outweigh the negatives. I'd much rather dose in and measure versus having phosphate and nitrate issues. So I'll try to get that installed tonight so you can see how it's going to all look, but it really does leave a plenty of room. And if I turn my return off and kind of simulate a power outage, everything, you know, I don't have any backflow valves on here to stop that. I just let it drain right back into the sump. So it's, you know, less point of failure to do it this way. So the sump is working really good. I'm very happy with the quality. It's a nice thick acrylic. And you know, I do need to get some socks over there. I don't usually run socks, but when you run fluconazole, which I will need to do at first, I think that's what the stuff's called. No, I'm sorry, lanthanum chloride. When I run that to minimize or get rid of my phosphates, the sock's good to have to help get rid of the binding effect that occurs after you put in lanthanum chloride. So, but that'll only be temporary until the algae scrubber kicks in, which will take about 3 to 4 months. But for now, real happy with this. I've got plenty of real estate. I still got to put my CO2 somewhere under here. Plenty of room up in the front now. Here's my switches. Those are currently on that are glowing, and plenty of room for growth. And my GHL setup is right here for now. I don't have the probes plugged in right now, but you know, I still have plenty of room on the power bar. And you know, I may get another one, and you can kind of see how I have this set up down here. Maybe basically those tubes. I used a heat gun to bend those those hoses nice and clean, and just kind of pushed them into the bulkheads, and then it just overflows into there. It looks really cool how it works, but that's generally how it'll run into the socks too when I have those in place. But all this room for activities. Anyway, more to come. Alright, so here's where I'm at. You see the skimmer doing pretty good there. I've got the algae turf scrubber online. My calcium reactor is dripping. You can see the drip right there. I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds, I guess. I don't know. Gotta put my marine pure block in there because I don't want to put any rock. I'm gonna keep it try to keep this one clean. For now, gravity fed ATO is just kind of keeping that lid up. You don't really need a lid over this chamber. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. It looks clean when the lid's there, but you don't have much water turbulence in this chamber, so you really don't need a lid there. I mean, the whole point is to, well, at least in my opinion, minimize noise and also evap. So you don't really evaporate too much out of this one. But this one here, that's the major one, where your evaporation goes through the roof. Obviously, don't really want to cover this up because, you know, your skimmer and this particular sump is designed for that skimmer. I mean, I'm sorry, for that clear water scrubber. I want to get a light cover for it. They have them. They don't block out all the light, but they're good enough. Probably a necessity to get that now because I don't want any light spill. Unless I might put a light strip up here so I can see when this is all buttoned up. So yeah, I'm working on my probes right now. Cleaning up wiring. Believe it or not, even though it's a mess, it looks a lot better than it has in quite a while. Let me show you what I did with my skimmer. So, I mean, I'm sorry, my I can't talk today. I'm still working on my coffee. So, but this is my calcium reactor, and if you have been watching the channel, basically I got this on flash sale from Bulk Reef Supply. It literally was like less than $100. So I grabbed it and said, yeah, you know, this looks cool. And a lot of people have complained about gases getting locked up in this portion here, and I would question how they routed it. You can see right now there's no bubbles, and the way I have it set with the pH monitor is at 6.5 because this particular media that I have in here, like, you can't see really, but it's a lot bigger down at the bottom. It's ARM media. It's real coarse, and I'm not really fond of it, but I want to burn it, you know, because I have it. I like using Reborn. Reborn's my favorite. It has a higher phosphate content, but it tends to be easier to liquefy with the CO2. So I'm going to give you just an example of how it looks when it's on. I'm going to just crank my pH monitor down. I don't count bubbles. There's no real need to, as long as all your effluent in here is at a melting point, to where you're not a melting point, but you know, basically acidic enough to burn this media, then that really doesn't matter. You could turn it down if you want, and it's fairly simple to do, but I mean, right here, this is a Tunzi regulator here, and I'm just gonna, if I tighten it up a little, you'll see the drip slow down. And that's probably, you know, a better idea to do it slower like that. But it's not really a big deal. Everybody acts like the bubble count is a big deal. It's not. What is a big deal is that you have pH monitoring going on. In this particular skimmer, or God, now I can't speak. In this particular calcium reactor, I have a pH probe. So as long as the effluent coming out of here or inside there is enough to help melt that media away, really all that matters is your drip rate and you know how much you drip. And I have a better pump that I'll be hooking up to this as soon as I get things more cleaned up. I have a Camor pump that'll help me fine-tune my drip rate a whole lot better than just a valve. The valve is a good touch, though. I'm not hating. I do think it's a good valve. So I'm gonna put this back on 6.5. There we go. And that'll stop my drip rate. 6.5 works good with this. Sometimes 6.7 is good for the Reborn media. But yeah, that's what I got so far. I usually like to run anything with water in it in the sump, but space is definitely limited now, and I went ahead. I've done this before where I've ran my calcium reactors on the floor of the sump instead of on the floor of the stand rather than in the sump, and this one seals really well. You just got to make sure, the big one is have a real tight fitting around the pH probe here. But yeah, that's what I'm doing so far. So far so good, very happy with it. Next will be calc reactor, and then probably some cable management. I don't like this here. You can see it's kind of bouncy. It's steel, you know, it ain't gonna fall, but I might have to get better L brackets there. But yeah, overall, pretty happy with it so far. All right, more coming. Okay, here's where I am right now. Put my calc reactor in place, cleaned it up real good, and I replaced that center magnet thing for a longer one. Just makes it slur up better. And here, just to kind of raise it up, I put some old books up here. And yeah, I'll fill that up, and there's my pump for it. And that's what I'm working on right now. Should be done with this pretty soon. Okay, this will probably be the final update. I'll do the cleanup on the cables as stuff comes in. But you can see here, I got the Comor doser. I basically, on this this calcium reactor is a SkimZ, I think CM122, and this little thing here was lightly screwed in right here. So it works basic with these normal valves that we all use. So I just put the tube that came with the Comor over the, I guess that's called RODI tubing, just regular 1/4 inch. And I did the same up here. I just slid it over the top. They have these fittings. I don't have one nearby. But they're basically these little adapters that fit in between them, but they don't work very well. They're basically a fitting just like you see on the Comor itself. But this is a Wi-Fi Comor, so it's only like I control it with the Wi-Fi controller, and it's basically dosing the tank with. And here's the pH monitor down here, set for 6.5. Even though it's showing 6.6, it'll probably kick on in a little bit, but my Tunzi regulator here on the COT tank, and it's dosing good. I like it a lot better than just using a valve to trickle it in there. It's more stable this way. So that's that. I just basically got a locker shelf and set it here so it's up a little higher, so I can have some floor room down here. I do have a lot of cable management to do, but you know, so far so good. It's a lot cleaner. Got tons of room over here, so that's a good thing. These panels here, I ordered a rack that'll help clean this up and strengthen up the mounting solution that I put in place here with just the L brackets. These are set up for just basic network racks, so they have tons of them online, and I ordered that. That should be here today, and obviously labeled what I needed to. There's the GHL controller, the Proflux controller, and the power bar, and I'll be putting the controller unit itself up a little higher here soon. Over here, here's kind of the drip rate I chose. It's really just an eyeball thing. You can kind of see it here. There we go. So just kind of dripping for now right there. And I'll probably put it over here in some ports that I have for the sump a little bit later. And here's the calc reactor. It basically mixes every hour or two, just for about a minute, and water just basically goes up above this port here and it just drains right down into the sump. And you gotta, make sure it doesn't gum up, and clean it up every now and then. Just check the tip of the hose, which is right here. That's all it is. It just drips right in. Here's the pump I'm using for it. It's kind of loud, but it works. And I did the same thing for the fitting here. I just slipped the silicone tubing over an RO line there. And then back here is the water coming in from my vat in the back. So it's really all I've done. It's perfect now. So all I got to do is just clean up the wiring and clean up my mess out here, which you can kind of see it here. Got a big old mess out there I got to clean up. Here's the pump that I'm going to put in here. The E-flux is doing okay, the current E-flux, but this one has more power. And I have these lines here that are going back to, these two lines go back to my UV sterilizer. After I'm done using Vibrant, I'll put the UV sterilizer back on. But for now, it's fine just where it's at. So that's really it.